Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you, and welcome to this session. Another editorial analysis for all of you, and just let share the session with some of the students. Okay, please let me know if my audio and video are working okay. We are good to go. For those who are watching me for the first time, my name is Niharika John Mehra, and I am your faculty of English. We are um, we are continuing a series here, and it is all about editorials. You get to skim, you get to practice reading, vocabulary, grammar, and the skills which are required to answer descriptive answers. The skill is honed over here because you get some samples, you get some discussion, some brainstorming happening. So a deep analysis is presented for all of you. Okay. Just for your information, my classes on this channel are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. Tomorrow I'll be having a class here, and that's 1:30 p.m. We are taking CSAT RCs, and on other days I have classes. The remaining days, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, classes are on our other channel, which is CGB IBPS Hub. Okay. Then every day, Monday to Saturday, my classes are here. Editorial Express, editorial analysis at 8 p.m. Okay, so please take full advantage of this session because it's one session you need to cover most of the things. So if you are a beginner or if you are an advanced level aspirant, doesn't matter. This kind of practice is going to help you in every area. Good evening, and so happy to see once again all of you here. So, today again, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper. I am going to show you a timer because we need to time your reading speed. You can time your own reading speed. This is just something on average that I'm going to give you. So, 2.5 minutes I'm going to give you to go through it. You have to skim the passage. Okay, I'll start scrolling for you so that you get to read everything from the beginning till the end. I will scroll that, and what you have to do is skim. Okay, you must train your mind and eyes to catch the important words, and through that you understand what is given in the passage. It should not be you are translating every single thing mentioned in front of you, or you are taking your own sweet time and reading. You do that, not a problem. But skimming is helpful for your exam because you have to read. It's not just reading, but you have to comprehend as well, no? So you must make sure that you are not wasting a lot of time in reading alone. Okay, and that's why we are timing our reading time, and we are also going to skim. That means any word which we feel is unnecessary, we are not going to read that, but we want to understand essence of each line, and through that essence of the whole passage, whole article. So I will now start your timer. You have 2.5 minutes. Please start reading. Please make sure to like and share the session, guys. Okay, so the timer is done. It's done. I hope you got to read and understand. I want you to tell me in one line what is your takeaway. आपने क्या समझा यहाँ से? Okay. What is the summary? What is the one or two liner summary should be enough. Just mention what is your takeaway from this article, from this passage. I will start explaining it now. For those who have any kind of confusion, you can compare my explanation with your understanding so that you know where do you stand. Also, it's always good to have someone to explain us, that's why we are the mentors here. Home and abroad, on India and on Indian student. India must improve research infra to serve its students. As you might have read about what has happened in the US, the new rules and all, how those rules have impacted Indian students and all. But author has titled this whole para article Home and Abroad on India and Indian Student. Nowhere he is mentioning what is happening in the US in the title. India must improve research to serve its students. So, this is again related to India, that what India should do. So, he maybe is trying to help us come up to a conclusion, maybe to teach us a lesson in a milder way what should be done in India. What is happening outside is definitely the reason why we should do this. But author here is talking about what our country should do. हम क्या करें, दूसरा क्या कर रहा है उससे असर को देख लेंगे, but what else we can do about it, right? So this is the interesting part. Impact of Trump presidency on presidency. Okay, on for students in USA, foreign students. Okay, yeah, that's what I want you guys to see. Okay, once again, the whole story is what Trump has done to foreign students, but that is not the takeaway. Takeaway is what India should do. This is interesting part, and let's start now. The ongoing program of revoking the visas of foreign students in the US, ostensibly, apparently, for opposing the country's foreign policy. This is a direct outcome of the xenophobic tendency in the Trump administration. So, author is using an accusative tone here. He is criticizing and saying that this program of revoking visas of foreign students, it is an outcome of the tendency of the administration of Trump, and that is a xenophobic tendency. Xenophobia is you fear that a person from foreign land will come and take away your right and disrupt your life. Okay, so that is called xenophobia, and such tendency is what we get to see. Okay, this is a strong and a very bold beginning. Usually in our essays and all, we tend to start in a milder tone, okay? But this is just an article. Don't do that in your exam. The danger is that Make America Great Again movement that propelled means pushed Donald Trump into presidency. It has helped him tremendously to get into this position. May soon permeate deep into campus life too. Campus life means university education. Permeate means कि कहीं फैल जाना, okay, रिस जाना. In any case, the number of Indian students enrolling in US universities has been a downward trend since last year. Okay, so we have seen a downward trend. Few number of people are going there. Even before the drumbeats of hostility started. So even before every such thing that happened, we could see a drop in number of students interested going to the US. Indian students are finding other countries such as Germany attractive for lower costs and greater flexibility to self-fund their education through work. So they are finding other countries attractive, lucrative. Enrollment figures for September this year will demonstrate how attractive the US still is for Indian students despite the looming cancellation of the optional practical training program. Now, this program offered a segue for foreign students to working in the US. So, of course, we might know like a general knowledge here that you cannot survive just like that in the US. You have to take up a part time job or something, to make sure that expenses are covered unless and until you come from a very rich family. So this is what is happening over here, that this program offered a way to the students, and now we can see that things uh, are going a very different way. Okay, so ये transition वाला जो program था, segue means to transition. Okay, all this together with the defunding of research से funding वापस ले ली, and arm twisting of universities. Arm twisting is forcing someone and using all the rules and laws to do it. In a country known to value academic freedom, has indeed lowered, if not appended. We have learned this word earlier in one of the editorials. Appended is उलट कर रख देना. The regard that people outside had for the US. So, of course, this has made a black remark on the reputation of US, but that's what author is saying here. What the US is doing in the name of the movement they have, it's not, of course, looking good on the part of that country. Okay. So I'll just go through some of the comments here. Why do Indian students prefer foreign studies over India? And also mention that where India has room for improvement. Second part is correct. The first part, not exactly. Okay, we'll get to that later. India need to improve research structure. US take on education. Indian students preferring European countries. Okay, so again, half correct, half wrong. I'll tell you. Now, one piece of information out of the whole passage can never be your summary or main idea or main theme. Okay, let's read first of all. Let's complete reading and we'll get back to it. Many countries have sought to leverage the decline of the US as destination for talent. Means other countries, they are taking advantage of people not wanting to go to US. Reports talk about European institutions welcoming disgruntled US-based researchers, ironically noting that scientists and researchers fleeing persecution greatly contributed to American progress in the past. Other countries can see that these foreigners are assets, and now they are grabbing those people. They can see that these researchers, these scientists, they help America to grow. For a while now, Indian returnees, those who return, have been driven in part towards a desire to come back home or even serve their motherland. Now, these people, their mindset is changed. Now they want to work in India. Professional achievement or the opportunity to do high end research has not always been a big driver towards India attracting back its people. So we have had, now India is in context, okay? The first half was simply talking about what the US did to foreign students. Now author is narrowing down. We must always narrow down. This is helpful in your parajumble, in your essay writing, okay? That whenever you give some kind of information, you want to come to the main point. Before that, you give some context, some backstory, some evidence, and then you come to the main point. That's what my author is also doing. Now he's saying that professional achievement, opportunity to do high-end research, these are not the things that have been a big driver towards India, that would call back the people who have shifted, who have moved to the other land. While outwardly new vistas have opened, research vistas means opportunities. Research opportunities have expanded, and fight for funds is less intense. In part due to encouragement given to private institutions, much work remains to be done. So we can see some improvement. We can see a little bit of more opportunities opening up, but there is a lot of work yet to be done. Loosening up the government's purse strings means letting them fund more and goading private institutions to invest in research. Okay, goading is to urge them, push them to invest more in research. More may only be starting point. Now this could be just starting point. It's not just about government helping in funds and the private institutions again being more compelled. What often puts off returnees is the daily struggle in India. So author is now talking about the core problem. It's not just the funding. The daily struggle which exists in India is one of the reasons these people that don't want to come back to India. The struggle not only characterizes everyday social life but also the workplace, so the environment. Collaboration between institutions or even across departments is a tough sell. Okay, so what we get to see here is even if the institutions and departments and all they collab, it's still not convincing enough for these returnees to settle back in India. Okay, the suffocating social norms, hierarchies are a downer. That means, of course, the social norms, hierarchies, the way society works in India is something which is off putting. Lastly, the academic freedom the Indians are used to enjoying elsewhere will need to be recreated. They don't have it here in India. That would require a complete overhaul in the Indian government's attitude, a complete change, reform to liberal values towards foreigners, which often borders on the Trumpian. Okay, now, so you might have seen if you saw that news and you saw the speech and all that when the tax cut and revision of tax import export tax was done, it was based on what other countries are paying to us, and we will also and what we are paying to the other countries. Okay, so that's the kind of comparison he is making. Ultimately, this article has actually nothing to do with what other countries are doing or not doing. This is the author using the US incident to motivate or to make the Indian government think what they can do to serve their own people, right? So we don't have brain drain in India. I hope you understand this, okay? So this is your overall passage, your article, okay? It ends with a tone where you get to see that would require a complete overhaul. Means author is saying we have a lot to do. We need to change the whole attitude of Indian government. We need to work on the things on grassroots level, not just you provide funding so people will be back. Society is also involved in it, hierarchy is also involved in it, the environment around collaborations, everything around should change. Then we can see that returnees are interested to stay in India and work here. Okay, I hope you get it now. Chalo. Let's do vocab and then we'll get back to the grammar part. Let's start with the word ostensibly. It is an adverb, ly wala word hai. Apparently. Okay, it looks like that. It may be something different. Supposedly, allegedly, दिखावे के लिए या नाम मात्र. कोई चीज सिर्फ नाम मात्र होती है. Maybe it doesn't have a strong base. That's ostensibly done. Xenophobic is prejudiced against foreigners, okay? Having this anti foreigner attitude, not welcoming them, being actually radical and nationalist at the same time. Videshi Virodhi Bhavana. Very specific vocabulary, but often seen in exam. Okay? Permeate is a verb. It means to spread or flow throughout. You might have learned permeation in your school days. I hope so. In science, हम permeation पढ़ते थे. Now this is like, you know, even if there is some kind of a barrier, something is spreading through it and then spreading throughout rest of the place. That kind of diffusion, फैलना, व्याप्त होना is to permeate. Okay. I would encourage you to note down the vocabularies you feel you're gonna forget later on. Okay, some of them you can simply keep in mind. You may already know. तो वो आपके लिए revision है. But at this point, note down कर लो तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. Drumbeats of hostility, rising signs of aggression or opposition, tension. एक संकेत, a sign शत्रुता के लिए जो है. Basically, drumbeats होता है signs. You might have seen in movies. जब भी battle शुरू होता है उसके पहले to declare that the main warriors and the king are gonna now face the kings are gonna face each other. They used to beat drums. Okay, that was a sign, a call for everyone to know now it begins. Okay, so this is the drumbeat, and if it is of hostility, it is of aggression. Segue is smooth transition from one thing to another, like a bridge. बदलाव लाना बहुत ही आसान तरीके से, simplest तरीके से. Defunding is cutting off financial support. Okay, budget cuts, वित्तीय सहायता को खत्म कर देना. Arm twisting is a phrase. Please start using phrases in your answers, in your descriptive, if you want to enhance the quality of it. If you can use at least 2 3 phrases throughout your essays, then also it is more than enough. But try. So forcing something into someone into compliance. Okay, हाथ मरोड़ना, हम कई बार हिंदी में भी बोलते हैं कि मेरा तो हाथ मरोड़ के मेरे से काम कराया जा रहा है. I am being forced to do this. I don't want to, but I have no option. I need to comply. So coercion, pressure करना, दबाव डालना. This gruntled is used as adjective at certain points. Not satisfied, upset, not happy, संतुष्टि नहीं है. We are not happy with whom we are or for whom we are working and where we are. Okay. Vista is a new opportunity, a new prospect, नया दृष्टिकोण, नया अवसर. Goading is from the word goad, which is a verb. Urging or provoking into action, किसी को बार बार पोक करना, उसको प्रोवोक करना और पुश करना ताकि वो कुछ करे. It could be for any good reason or a bad reason. Suffocating social norms or suffocating anything. Now, suffocating not just means literally किसी का गला घोटना या सांस का नहीं ले पाना. It means any scenario where you don't feel free to do something, you feel restriction. Okay, so this word is used metaphorically more than it is used literally. So any kind of restrictions, and if I'm using this word with social norms, that means restrictive social expectation, rigid tradition, हम तो नहीं बदलेंगे. Okay, so that kind of a thinking, दम घोटने वाला sense सामाजिक रूप से. Overhaul is a complete reform or change. पूरा बदल के रख दो A to Z. Not a tiny change, not a minor change. We want a complete makeover. Revamping, restructuring. पुनर्गठन करना. Okay. So there you go. ये आपके words. Now it's my favorite segment. That's grammar. So okay, I will tell you some rules, make you revise those rules, and at some point I'm gonna ask you some question and आप मुझे बताओगे. Let me check how well you have done your grammar part. Okay. I want you to tell me subject and verb of this sentence. Subject and verb of this, main subject and verb of this sentence. Okay. So the ongoing program, the first noun of the sentence, that is program. Of what, revoking what, visas of whom, of students, where in the US, how ostensibly, for the country's policy. Every other thing is extension of your, an explanation of your subject. So the subject is program, which is singular, hence is your main verb. Something is something. Okay, and there you go. Next question to you all. Part of speech of this word. part of speech of this word? Come on, guys. Deep. Okay. Interesting. People think that deep is always an adjective, but that's not the case. In this case, it is an adverb. We can see we are saying that the this danger is that this movement that propelled may soon permeate deep into. So permeate कैसे होगा? फैलेगा कैसे? Deep फैलेगा. He dived deep. Okay, he dived deep into the ocean. Now, when I say deep, after the verb, it is acting as an adverb. Another thing to check if you are confused and you want, some of you can think this is the wrong form, ये तो permeate के साथ के लिए तो इसको deeply कर दो. No, deeply will have the context of something that is very intense. Okay, but we are literally talking about going into the depth, and that's why deep as an adverb is used. अगर adjective होता तो deep के बाद एक noun भी होता. Okay, so which is not of course something that we can see here. So that's why deep here in this case is your adverb. Remember, we can use deep as an adverb. Now, the number of Indian students enrolling in US universities. There are two rules I want to discuss in this part. First is the use of the number of. The number of is the subject, so noun is plural, and the number of always takes a singular verb, and that's why has is used over here. अगर यहाँ a number of होता, if it would have been a number of, then we would have used have. So that is the first rule we get to see being used in the article. Second thing, yeah, many times I have seen students making the mistake. Let's say this sentence is given in your sentence correction or error detection. They see the word US or UK and directly jump to using the before it. No, the US is correct. Okay, again, the US is correct. The US. Okay, but you see here we are not talking about the country, we are talking about university. US is helping us to get a get a noun which is a compound noun, and that's why the is not required here. The main noun is universities. US उसकी category है, वहाँ का कहाँ की है वो universities वो बता रहा है. Okay, and that's why the is not required here. Unnecessary आप उसको error वाला mark करके exam में आ जाओ तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay, so let's move ahead quickly. Part of speech in this sentence. Mhm. It is gerund. It is used with the. Na? If it would have been a verb, a simple present participle, then I won't get the before it. If I'm using the, which is typically used with a noun, and if there is no noun, then verb ing is acting as a noun and we call it gerund. So इसकी समझ आपको होनी चाहिए. Many always takes plural after it, so there you go. See, you have plural. In fact, the verb is also the same. Good, okay. Now you need to tell me part of speech of this word. I have encircled in part. Okay. In part is an adverbial phrase here. Okay. Indian returnees have been driven, not fully, but in part. So, not all adverbs will have ly at the end, and that's how you know it is an adverb. अगर ये सोचते हो तो please change your thinking and make sure you learn the right things. Much work, much always goes with uncountable, so you get to see. There's one last question related to grammar, and we move to summary after this. Okay. Why we are using between here? Use of between. Why not among? Giving you a couple of seconds. Answer me. Why not among? Why between? Okay. So very interesting. I'm gonna use the short form of it. Okay. You don't do that in exam. Between is yes. First of all, used with and. If I want to talk about both the parties, जिसके लिए between use कर रही हूँ. Between is also used when I have, of course, more than two participants, let's say A, B, C, D, and each of them has connection with each other. So A with B, A with D also, A with C, again D with B, D with C, B with C individually. So it's a cross connection, okay, where one point is connected to any other point. It's not a group participation, and that's why यहाँ पर among use नहीं हुआ है. Also, if you are thinking यहाँ पर and आएगा, so let me tell you, author is saying collaboration between institutions. So institution one, institution two, institution three, ऐसे करके जितने भी हैं वो एक दूसरे के साथ का बता रहे हैं. और collaboration across department. So this is a separate thing. Collaboration between institution, collaboration across department. It is not institution and departments coming together. So this is the context of it. Don't let such things confuse you. It's the tricky part of the grammar. The summary, let's quickly see so that we can remember what we read. Subconscious mind will absorb some of the information from this one, and you will be able to use it later on when you are doing your descriptive. The US visa crackdown. This is This was the beginning where we got to see the Trump's administration revoking the foreign student visa, especially those opposing foreign policy highlights. Now, what do we get to see? This is a sign, this is how author sees it, that they are xenophobic and they have these tendencies and threatens academic freedom. Impact on Indian students, we get to see there is a downward trend. Even before this rule came out, we got to see there is a downward trend. People are picking up, students are picking up countries like Germany. That those countries are more attractive because of their affordability and work flexibility. Okay, policy shocks. Okay, so we get to see because of this practical training that helped in transition and reduced research funding, US may deter future enrollments because it has stopped funding, stopped offering this, cancelling this practical training. Of course, there will be a downfall in the further enrollments, which we will get to know in September. Perception shift. People now are, of course, not happy with the US policies. So their image has changed. The global image has been hampered. Okay, it used to be a symbol of liberty and opportunity education wise, but now things have changed. Europe response thoda sa tha. You want to include in summary, you can if you have like a good 4-5 sentences opportunity to do it. Otherwise, skip kar do. European nations are welcoming displaced scholars. They know the value of the people. They know these are the researchers, these are the scholars who have helped America grow. Indian returnee challenge, na hame to hamare se mat. We need to know what we can do as a country. Since this is the case, author is suggesting that Indian returnees are returning out of patriotism. But there are still systemic challenges like bureaucratic hurdles, hierarchies, institutional collaboration, rigidity. So, the way forward, the takeaway that I asked initially you guys to answer, that India must increase investment. Of course, funding is first thing, but not just that, but the liberal values, recreating freedom of education and that kind of environment is what returnees seek, and that is still missing, and that's why an overhaul is required. Okay, the exam angle say you could get to see a topic where global shifts in migration and the impact on knowledge economies could be asked, where you will have to describe how people are moving out of India, and this could be a great part of your explanation today's article. Is India ready to welcome back its scientific diaspora? So, do we are we self-sufficient in a way to cater to needs of those who want to come back? Trumpian policies and their global ripple effects. Now, this topic, Trumpian policies and global ripple effects, can also include the tax-related changes that he has announced, and of course, this visa-related change. Brain gain or brain drain. This is super duper nice topic. Interesting topic. Brain gain. Are we getting back what we lost, or brain drain? Rethinking India's research ecosystem. So, where we lack, what are the challenges? We do have people who would want to come back to India, but then are we offering as a country the ecosystem they want? So, this could be a great topic that could be asked in the essays. I hope some of those people setting the paper are watching this. Exam questions that you could see, you could find. So, discussing the implications of visa revocation, what happened, why happened, how it has impacted anti-immigration policies. What are the key challenges India faces in attracting its talented returnees? Talent pool को हमारे ही in-house कैसे बनाए रखें? Examining the relationship between academic freedom and national policy. So, how are policies and academic freedom go hand in hand, or they do even go hand in hand or not? Where do we still need to work? In fact, if any topic comes where you are supposed to talk about or write about the present scenario in educational field, okay, or higher education, you can use content from this article. Evaluate how changing global academic migration patterns affect India's strategic positioning. Now, how it's gonna help us to position ourselves globally. You can, okay, no, sorry, not this one. This is just a typo error. This is from the previous class, okay? So, yeah, these are the things, these were the things for today's editorial, and I hope that you guys have learned. Thank you so much for joining the session, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have CSAT class here, 1:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. again. We are meeting for editorial analysis. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure to like and share, and for me to leave.